Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've just mounted one of the coolest deer that I've ever seen, ever. Like, this is by far my favorite mount that I've ever done. And I'm going to run through fast motion, show y'all me mounting it all like I do on some of my time-lapse videos. But I want to take a second to go through this mount and show it to y'all before we get started. Y'all check this guy out. I've done an alteration on this buck. This is a McKenzie 4900 wall pedestal. I put a twist in his neck and got him angled so that he's going to be rubbing a tree. And y'all, I love the way that that turned out. I used the eyes that are pre-rotated. You see how you can see the white back here behind the eye. On the other side, get this thing twisted around so y'all can see a little bit about it. I've got this eye closed or squinting. Hard to see, I ain't got real good light in here. Y'all can see that eye's kind of squinted down. The tree is going to be coming right up through here where he's going to be rubbing. Y'all can see the twist. So what I did to do this alteration, did a little bit of experimenting, and I was going to video it just to show y'all how I was going to do it or if it would even work, but I figured that'd probably be a bad idea because it was going to be a lot of hit or miss, and I just didn't want to film the whole thing with me down here trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. But I actually used this to do this alteration. And if you get online and do some research, everybody will tell you that that cannot be done. Well, it can be done. Now on this alteration, all I made was about 3 slices on this neck. I just cut it in about 3 pieces, shaved a little bit off at it where it was at an angle, kind of like a wedge, because he wanted the head down just slightly. It wasn't kind of an upward position like this. I cut those wedges out, twisted them, and then screwed them back together with some big 4-inch screws. Now once you get all that done, you're going to have to take a knife or a rasp or something, and I cut out where this neck makes this twist right here, because you're going to have pieces, you know, that stick out from the existing shape of that neck, and you just kind of have to carve that in there how you want it. Well, what I did, rather than using a 2-part expanding foam, which typically that's what I would recommend that you use, especially if you're doing a very large alteration. The 2-part foam, which you mix up, get from the taxidermy supplies, you pour on. It's a 3 or 4 pound foam. It's very hard, very dense, very durable. What I did is I actually took a glove, and I've tried this several different ways when I was trying to mess with this form, trying to figure out how to make this stuff work. But I took a glove and I would put a little bit of foam down in those cracks and rub it on there, almost like you're just rubbing it in like you've got modeling clay or something. Well, as it would expand, I would keep on pressing on it, getting rid of all the bubbles and the air that was trapped in there. So what happens with this great stuff is it has got a lot of air. It's not very dense, so you can't hardly sand it. It's not even that easy to carve because it's kind of brittle. So for something like very small gaps and cracks and stuff, like the way I did with this head, it's not a problem to use it if you decide to use it. But once I got the great stuff on there and made it as dense as I wanted to, I had to do it in a few different layers, make sure all the air was out of it and all that kind of good stuff. I took a knife and then I kind of carved at it, almost like you're whittling a stick. I had to do it a little bit at a time because that stuff wants to chip off rather than carve or sand. So what I did is I just chipped at it a little bit and got it shaped the way that I needed to. Went back over it with a very thin layer of modeling clay and let that sit for probably about 2 hours, something like that. Let most of that moisture get out of that clay. Then went over the whole thing with Pro 1 hide paste. It's very similar to doing ear butts. If y'all have ever done ear butts where you build the butt on the mannequin with the ear liner and then you coat it in glue, pop it off, and then you can use it inside the cape, you know, when you go to mount it. Almost the same exact thing as what I did to this neck. And like I said, I wouldn't recommend doing this on a very large alteration or if it's going to be holding up a whole lot of weight or anything. But on something like this, that gray stuff is very sticky. It bonded great. It was strong, good and sturdy. And it worked just fine for something small like this. So if you ever want to do something, especially on small mammals, squirrels, stuff like that, that great stuff for an alteration works just fine. It's just a little bit more aggravating to work with. Well, let me say this, it's a lot more aggravating to work with than 2-part foam. I just wanted to see if it was possible because I hate somebody telling me that something is completely impossible. When it comes to artwork and taxidermy, There's a lot of different ways you can go about something. Until I try something for myself, I do not believe any of it. But anyway, guys, y'all enjoy this video. Hope to see y'all in the next one.